Welcome back, traders and investors, to Benzinga's pre-market prep, brought to you by MarketFi. I'm your co-host Joel Alcana, along with Brianna Valesky, and we have Igor Gonta on the line, and he's the CEO of Market Profit. Igor, how you doing this morning?
Good. How are you, Joe?
We're doing good. Well, we got some nice volatility in the morning. It always makes me a little bit happy. But
Yeah,
let's talk about Market Profit here. What does Market Profit do?
sure. We analyze real-time tweets on Twitter about stocks, and we have software and technology that summarizes all that info for investors into easily digestible graphs of sentiment, so that they know what's trending bullish or bearish in real time.
Okay, I know Joe Gitz has a product. What differentiates your product? I think what's it, social media analytics? Is that's what it's called? What differentiates your product from his?
Sure. We have a key differentiator that actually differentiates our product from other financial sentiment providers in that not only do we generate just kind of crowd sentiment, which is sentiment from everybody on Twitter, but we also rank people. And we rank people simply based on one formula. Did their tweets make or lose money? So we treat every tweeter like a trader and every tweet like a trade. And in real time, we're hypothetically mock trading their portfolio of predictions. So we assign a credibility score that people can look up and say, oh, this guy's an expert, but this guy may not be such an expert.
And how do you get on the radar to be considered as a market profit?
Sure. You got to tweet often enough because our scores are statistical in nature. You just have to be a really active tweeter.
How
So
active?
if
How active?
if
How
you
active?
parachute in once a month and tweet, you're probably not going to get scored.
How often would you have to tweet in order to be considered as a market profit?
I'd say you probably need to be tweeting a couple times a day, every day, and that will get you bubbled up into our stats.
Okay. Could you give us some examples of who a few of the market profits are?
Yeah, sure. So we actually did a pretty interesting analysis where we went into our database and we found people that are off the radar. You may have never heard of them, but they don't have a lot of Twitter followers, but they absolutely killed it in 2014 predicting stocks. So I'm just going to throw out a couple of snippets for you. One is the Twitter handle is Ervander Slice. He's a day trader and he trades equities and options. And according to our analytics, he was up 63% last year. But he has about 111 followers on Twitter.
Really?
That's an example. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That's a diamond in the rough there. How often does he tweet?
Obviously, in order to get scored, he tweeted a couple times a day on average over the year. So he was a pretty active tweeter. He claims to be a day trader, and unless he's just flipping coins and getting really lucky, you kind of believe that he's really doing his job.
All right, so there's different ways to use the social sentiment. You can go with the flow, or you can fade it. What do you find? I mean, obviously you're going with these Twitter predictions, and not necessarily looking for a fade.
You know what? We can do both. So again, this is where we're different, where we generate trending sentiment from what we call the crowd, which is kind of momentum. But then we also generate sentiment from our market profits. And those are the people, again, we call our scored experts. And a lot of times you'll see that the two groups agree with each other, but a lot of times you'll see they'll diverge where, let's say, the crowd is bullish trending and the market profits turn bearish. And when they split apart by a lot in terms of their diverse opinions, that typically signals a top or a bottom. So our platform is actually pretty good at identifying intraday tops and bottoms.
Okay. Can we ask you about some stocks that have had some news today or moving? Do you have get your system up? Can you give us a few comments on, let's say, PVH? Philip Van Heusen had some good earnings today. Had been consolidating, got a nice pop. What are the market profits saying about PVH?
Yep, let's do it. So I'm bringing them up right now. Let's see, the market's not open yet, but they did have a pre-market pop, and so right now what we're showing, literally right now, is we're getting the divergence. Right, going into the open, we got the crowd trending bullish, but the market profits literally just turned bearish, and the spread is actually pretty wide. We don't know who's going to be right, but we may be going into a potential top situation on the open.
Okay, Dollar General.
Dollar General, let's do it. Dollar General, another market mover. Let's refresh our system. And we'll also show you the crowd versus what the experts are saying. And here we go. Headed right into the open. Here we're agreeing. They're kind of slightly neutral. Crowd tilting just ever so bullish, but the market profits are just below that negative line, but not enough to say direction one way or the other. So I think not enough info to call it either way.
Now, if you're waiting for the all-time high, it's 76. Is that 76.99 here? No, that's yeah, all-time high. Dollar General 76.99. If you've been eyeing that, we're 30 cents away from it. Medtronic MDT earnings out today. That stock was trading higher, much higher. What do you have on Medtronics?
All right, Medtronics, here we go. Going into the
Ooh,
open, which is 2 minutes away. Let's see what is trending on market profit. Again, we got, we this time we got both trending bullish. So the crowd and the market profits. Crowd's a little more bearish than the market profits, but they're both in the plus line.
oh, a popular stock that's had a great run here. GoPro, GPRO.
GoPro, love GoPro. Don't go against GoPro, in my opinion. Uh, they always introduce new stuff. Let's take a look. Going in, huge run, but here we got the big divergence. After the big run up, going into the open, crowd is bullish, but the market profits have squarely turned bearish,
Yeah.
and there's big disagreement here. So going in here, we might be looking at a toppy situation right on the open.
Yeah, it's had a nice run. Ambarilla, AMBA, I believe they're a component maker for GoPro. Boy, this thing has had a nice run, rallying with GoPro. What do you have on Ambarilla, AMBA?
Yeah, so here actually it's the reverse. The market's loving chip stocks right now. The market profits are actually bullish into the open. The crowd slightly bearish, but it's actually reversing, and it looks like it's about to cross that zero line and agree with the market profits. I think people are looking for that thing to rally a little bit more, just because the chip sector's on fuego, and AMBA's a great play on all the chips that GoPro's products just introduced. So we'll see what happens here, but looks like both are turning up.
Here's a low price stock in a tight range. Rite Aid, RAD.
Rite Aid. Yeah, this is an interesting one. There's actually not a lot of chatter on this one, but let's see what we got here going in. Um, uh, Again, not a lot of stuff going on. We got the crowd bullish, the market profits just kind of hanging in there, just slightly above the zero line.
Oh,
So
okay.
slightly bullish.
And just overall market on the spider, market sentiment here, SPY.
Massive divergence going into the open. Crowd bullish, market profits are squarely negative. Obviously, picking up on the sentiment globally around the world. Reflecting the ever continuing Greek drama that is unfolding, and who knows what happens there. But there's a pretty big spread, and the market profits are bearish.
Okay, and I just want to get your take here. Since you do use the Twitter sphere, what about Twitter? TWTR.
Yeah, actually, let's look that up. Twitter, here we go. obviously love the stock. I'm biased, but let's see what the Twitterverse is saying about Twitter. So just right now, going into the open, uh, yeah, even though it's down slightly on the open, the crowd and market profits squarely in bullish territory, squarely. So they're whacking the dip.
Okay, all right. It's been dipping for a while. You just
Yeah,
you just launched your first ever social media sentiment index that's available on some other platforms under the ticker Crowd. Can you tell us about that?
yeah, we're really excited about it. So we decided to just boil all this chatter down into one digestible index, which we actually plan on launching an ETF out of. And what we did was we aggregate the top 25 most tweeted about stocks every quarter, and that becomes the 25 stocks in our index for the next quarter. And then every day we rebalance each stock going long or short, depending on what the net crowdsourced sentiment is saying on our platform. And so it's kind of a smart beta index. You can think of it almost as like a hedge fund like strategy where the crowd is deciding what to go long or short in this basket. So we launched it 2 weeks ago. S&P Dow Jones is the calculation agent. It's on Bloomberg and Yahoo Finance. You can look it up right now. Caret sign crowd. And you can trend it against, how it's performing against the S&P, other indices. In the last 2 years that we have data, it was up 53%, and the S&P 500 was up 36. So the crowd seems to be wise.
Yeah, okay. Igor Gonta, he's the CEO of Market Profit. He brings a wealth of experience in both the financial markets as well as on the big data front. Everyone loves the data. Igor, thanks for coming on. Great information. We hope to have you on again.
Absolutely. Thanks so much, Joe.